The Uranus and Jupiter conjunction is not only known for how rare it is, but also the possibilities for significant change and innovation that's to come. Hey y'all, I'm Jasmeen, the owner of House of Chiron Astrology and Reiki, and I make the language of astrology digestible for all of y'all. So welcome to my channel. This is the place where we dive deep into the astrology and do all the galactic gossip, and I give you all the tea on what's going on in the astros and in the cosmos and all that good stuff, okay? So if you are new to my channel, hello, nice to meet you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you will not miss me uploading anything like these videos like this one here. Okay, so I also do a couple of things. So just kind of give you a little layout of the land here. Every month I do a overall astrology forecast for the entire month where I go over all of the energy for that month. In that video, I don't go sign by sign. I typically save those videos for my new moon and full moon video. So I save those readings for my new moon and full moon videos. And so you can catch the reading sign by sign in those. And then also videos like these, which are very special because they're rare, like Jupiter and Uranus coming into a conjunction, does not happen often. So I typically save the sign by sign readings for these types of videos also. So with that being said, if you are returning, you already know how we do. So welcome back. Welcome to another video, another insightful and informative piece. Okay. I was doing a little research on this, and so y'all know how I like to tie things in when we have these strong, significant, and rare occurrences. So I like to go back into history and see when was the last time this happened and what was going on in the world and what we can expect moving forward. So that's what this is going to be about. Okay. Now, if you are new, of course, then you would not know that I do readings. So I do astrology readings. We have 30 and 60-minute sessions on my website, as well as Reiki appointments. I am a Reiki master. And so you can book those. I am able to do virtual Reiki sessions. So you don't have to be in Texas or in the Austin Round Rock area for you to get a Reiki session from me, or even an astrology reading. But go ahead and get all that information in the description box below. I also have merch. So there's that. But I'll go into a little bit of more of like announcements towards the end. So that being said, let's dive right on into the energy for this Uranus Jupiter conjunction that happens at 21 degrees Taurus. This is occurring in the central area. So central CST time, because I'm in Texas, on April the 20th around 9:27 p.m. Okay, so just to kind of give a little idea, it's really significant. This is probably outside of the eclipse, one of the biggest transits that we're having, right? So, Jupiter and Uranus, they align. Is very rare because it takes Jupiter about 12 years, 12 to 13 years to go through all 12 zodiac signs. And we know Uranus has a very slow transit as well. And so for these two to come into a connection, happens every, 12, 13 years or so. But in the sign of Taurus, it has not happened in quite some time. So like I said, it's very rare, but it's also going to be known for the potential of like significant changes and innovations that's going to come from this conjunction. All right. And it's going to be in those areas that's ruled by Taurus, which is finances, the environment, agriculture, relationships, things like that. So, just keep that in mind. The energy is really kind of like subtly influencing us, and it has been since the end of 2023, and it will continue to do so all the way into May of 2024 and beyond, right? So we can kind of see these things kind of pan out over the next 7 to even 14 years, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So, a little historical context and a little about, the ancient beliefs of this, conjunction. So, first and foremost, let's talk about what Jupiter is. Jupiter is a planet of expansion and abundance. Jupiter in Greek mythology is Zeus, right? And then Uranus is about innovation, it's about breakthroughs and it rules Aquarius. So it's about humanitarian efforts. It's about the collective. It's about, everyone, right? Community. It's also about doing things in a different way, being innovative, as well as, it rules things like technology. So kind of keeping that in mind, when these two things come together, we have abundance and we have expansion and we have growth meeting innovation and technology and community. So we can see that this might bring in some rapid changes when it comes to those Jupiter as well as Uranus themes, but also the Taurus themes, right? Money, relationships, and agriculture. So and kind of keep that in mind. And the last time that Jupiter and Uranus met in the sign of Taurus was in 1941. All right, and we'll get into what happened in that year in a little bit. But this was a time of significant global upheaval. And it was at the beginning of very many like new societal structures that was happening during this time. So this was a time of like innovation and change on a massive scale. And historically, even like ancient astrologers viewed this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus as a time of great fortune and radical shifts. And, often bringing about advancements that could like propel societal things into like new realms of understanding and maybe even operation, new systems being created, and so on and so forth. So just to dive deep in a little bit into some of the world events that happened in 1941. So the last time that this conjunction happened, it was May of 1941. Okay. And so in May of 1941, Rudolf Hess, Adolf Hitler's deputy in the Nazi Party, he made that solo flight to Scotland where he was going to negotiate peace with the UK, but then he was arrested upon landing. And then World War II, that happened around May 20th, and that was the Battle of Crete, which began as the German paratroopers invaded into Crete. And so that was like the first mainly airborne invasion that happened in military history. And then May 27th, the British battleship HMS Hood was sunk by the German battleship Bismarck. And so that's when the Battle of Denmark Strait happened. And then, like, just thinking about the rest of 1941, just some things to kind of consider what was happening. So it was a lot of war, I would say, a lot of war, right? So this is the time of World War II that was going on. So we had the Operation of Barbarossa, which is a German invasion of the Soviet Union, the Holocaust, that's in July, that was just a whole nother part of what was going on with the Holocaust. So we can kind of see similar themes happening right now. And so that was under the secret Reich directive from which was known as like the Operation of Reinhard. So the Nazi Germany made that decision to systematically kind of like exterminate the Jewish population. So we know what the Holocaust is for the most part, and we can see if you look now that there are similar themes going on over the world. And then in August of 1941, Franklin D. Roosevelt and Winston Churchill, they met at the Atlantic Conference, and they were talking about, important declaration about, outlining Allied goals for the post-war world and so on and so forth. And then in October, just kind of on a lighter note, music and culture wise, there was the debut of Dumbo by Walt Disney. And so that kind of goes into the whole Taurus vibe with the elephant in earth and so on and so forth. But became a very beloved classic. And then in December, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. And then the United States officially declared war on Japan, and that's when we entered into World War II. And so a lot of these themes, from 1941 are really pivotal in understanding mid 20th century history, right? But also reflecting on like the world in the midst of war and significant political shifts. And that's going to shape the international relationships of the world for like decades. And so what to expect now. Okay, so that's a little bit historical context to it, but what to expect now, right? So the 2024 conjunction on a societal level, it suggests that we may see like some groundbreaking developments in how we handle and value money, farming and agriculture, as well as like environmental care. there are innovations in technology that could really be like the intersection with finance and sustainable practices like in agriculture. These things could emerge, reshaping our approach to different fundamental aspects of life, how we eat, how we grow food. We can see a lot of us are taking up farming on our own. A lot of us are taking up on, gardening and, just kind of shifting how we eat and what we eat also. Now, on a personal level, some personal growth, the conjunction is really encouraging a revelation of success and purpose beyond the conventional career paths, right? So Uranus is here and it stimulates a desire for authenticity, right? Uranus is about what is true to you, who you are, your own authenticity, your own sense of agency and independence, and pushing us to break free from societal norms and pursue a path that aligns more closely to our true selves. Something I've been preaching about for I don't know how long, especially when we just recently had this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Aries just happened, a week or so before this conjunction. And that's all about our self-image and our identities and, individuality and our confidence, right? So it's even setting that trend, this new beginning for that. And then this conjunction is happening. And it's even more so expanding that because Jupiter is here, right? And so Jupiter's influence is expanding those energies and potentially going to be bringing opportunities out of left field because Uranus is all about shocks and surprises, right? And these things could redirect our trajectory significantly, whether it's in our finance, in our relationships, in our career path, in the way we go about, eating and food and finance and just the things that we find pleasure in, the things that we value could significantly like be shifting and changing at this time also. Now, some potential challenges that could come with this, right? Because, typically you don't necessarily hear about challenges when you have Jupiter involved because it's the great benefic. But there could be some challenges because a conjunction can always be like intense and it could bring in some challenges, and conjunctions always represent a new beginning. So, with this Uranus energy, it's always unpredictable in nature. And so there may be some instability during this period, kind of like expect the unexpected with this and potentially manifesting those unexpected events or personal revelations could come completely out of left field. Things could pan out in a way that you would least expect. And so the energy can really feel a bit erratic, I guess you can say, around this time where there's like, your nervous system might be triggered. You might not be able to just catch a grip on certain things. You might have your mind racing, and there might even be literal seismic activity like the one we just recently seen in New York. That is because Uranus is in Taurus, and Taurus is the ruler of the earth, right? So you know, that's something to consider. And this also is like reflecting the metaphorical shaking up of our lives. And that's what this is probably going to do. It's going to shake up some things that no longer align to who it is that we are, the path and the journey that we are destined to be on, and the things that we're supposed to be achieving and doing in this lifetime. And so it's shaking us up and kind of breaking our comfort zones a bit so that way we can get in alignment with what we are supposed to do and what we are destined to be. Okay. So long-term influence, let's think about this on a long-term scale. Okay, so the seeds that are being planted during this conjunction may take until about 2031 when Jupiter and Uranus are opposing each other to fully mature, for us to fully see the manifestations of these things, right? And so at that time, the full impact of the changes that are initiated right now in 2024 will become much more clear and we will understand them during that 2031, which is 7 years from now, right? So the halfway mark, just about. And so this is illustrating how this conjunction has really reshaped our societal values as well as our personal lives. And so if we go back 1941, we think about 7 years later, 8 years later. So let's just say 1948, major world events that happened 7 years after that conjunction in 1941. In April of that year, President Harry Truman signed the Marshall Plan that authorized where more than $5 billion in aid was to help rebuild the Western European economies after the devastation of World War II. So you see that theme of the damage that was done and the upheaval and things that was created during that time. And then what came thereafter was something positive and beneficial to kind of like alleviate something. Okay. And then also, same year in May, the state of Israel was officially proclaimed as an independent nation, right? And that led immediately to armed conflict with neighboring Arab states, which became known as the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. So we can see even that kind of like panning out now, 82 to 84 years later, right? We can see things with that happening now. And then we had the Berlin blockade happen that year, right? And that's when the Soviet Union blocked the Western Allies Railway. Um, and then we also had the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that was adopted by the Economic and Social Council, and that set the stage for the for its adoption of the UN General Assembly later on that year. So that's also something. And then we had the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that was adopted by the UN, and so kind of keep that in mind. And then some economic development things happen where, that introduction of Marshall Plan not only served political and recovery purposes, but it also stimulated economic growth across the war that torn through Europe, right? And that led to revitalizing industries as well as employment. And then scientifically, there were some advancements that happened in 1948 where the long playing or LP record was introduced by Columbia Records, right? So that revolutionized the music industry, and that allowed more music to be recorded on a single vinyl record more than ever before, right? So this innovation really greatly influenced the way music is consumed even now and appreciated to this day. As you can see, I got my vinyls back there. Okay, those are my daddy's records. So, anywho, then on the environmental level, so some environmental conservation was happening. So, the establishment of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, so the IUCN, was established in October 1948, right? So, that was a significant step towards global environmental conservation efforts. And then on a cultural level, the 1948 Summer Olympics was held in London from July of that year, July 29th to August 14th. And so that was the first Olympics that was held after a 12-year hiatus due to World War II, right? And that is when it became known as the austerity games due to post-war economic conditions. So they symbolize a return to global unity and peace through sports and so on and so forth, okay? So that's just something to kind of consider when it comes to this. Now, I can definitely say that, historically, we have seen some upheaval, we have seen some destruction, but we have also seen some beautiful things manifest from that. Okay. And that's kind of similar to what we can expect. And I can definitely say that we can already see like the takeoff of AI, we can see technology go on a completely different route. And we're going to see more of that, more expansion of that. It's going to be coming out even more innovative things coming through. There's going to be more shifts and changes that are happening when it comes to our finances and how the money market is ran, and politics and things of that nature is going to be shifting and changing, because not only do we have Uranus making this conjunction with Jupiter in Taurus, we also have Pluto in Uranus, Pluto in Aquarius, right? And Uranus rules Aquarius. So there's a lot of change and transformation. There's a lot of rebirth kind of energy going on right now. So we can kind of see that, things that are toxic coming up to the surface and being crumbling and being destroyed, being torn down. So that way we can build anew, something that's going to be beneficial for the community, for the collective at large. Okay. Now, that being said, let's dive right on into these readings for all 12 zodiac signs. But first and foremost, let's just get through these announcements. All right. So, like I said earlier, I do have my astrology readings as well as my Reiki sessions, and they are first come, first serve. I only do a certain amount per month. And so once they're gone for the month, and then I'll just re up for the next month. And that is mostly due because I am still in grad school and I got a whole lot going on. Okay. So that's that. I do have the House of Chiron merch. So we have hats, tote bags, beanies, shirts, sweaters, hoodies, all the things. You can find all that information in the description box below on my website. Also, we have the House of Chiron free PDF cheat sheet guide where you can like download it. Just go to my website. It gives you this little pop-up where you just put in your email and it gives you like the free 30-page book of astrology info, and it's free. Okay, it's a free ebook. So that way you can follow along with all this astrology lingo and verbiage that I be throwing out. You can understand what's being said and stated. Okay, at least for a little bit. All right, so I think that's all the announcements that I have. So let's just dive right on into these readings for all 12 signs. And so before we get into that, just want to remind you to listen for all three. Okay, so for your big three, your sun, moon, and your rising, so you can have a well-rounded understanding of the reading and what's coming for you with this energy. Okay, so how to read for your sign. First and foremost, you're going to read for your rising sign. That's the most accurate reading for your sign. Second is going to be your sun sign. That represents your focus and your goals, maybe even your career. And last but not least will be your moon sign. That represents your current living situations, your home and family life, and also your emotional world. So it can be a little bit more subjective. Okay. So with that being said, Aries, sun, moon, and rising, this conjunction is happening in your second house of personal finances and values. So, a surprising shift in your financial landscape could really emerge during this time and offering you new avenues for income and investments. So, reassess your values and align your finances accordingly for those potential, for the potential and prosperity, right? For that expansion. Okay. So making sure that everything is in alignment with who it is that you are and what you value. And then, maybe even doing something in alignment to where it brings in a new stream of income. And things could come out of nowhere. So you may even come into like a surprising windfall of money, or your partner could get like a windfall of money or something along those lines. Okay. Now, for Taurus, sun, moon, and rising, this is happening in your sign. Okay. So this is directly affecting you. It's in your first house of self and personal identity. So this is a period that marks a significant chapter for a personal transformation, big, bold decisions regarding your appearance or the projection of your personality could really lead to rejuvenating changes. You might have like just some shocking and expansion, maybe even bringing out the truth about who you are, or just expressing that to you, who it is that you are, especially with Jupiter also ruling your 11th house of social media. Maybe you're going to be sharing something at large about yourself. So that also could be something, or you just could be really seen differently, on a public sector. Okay. So for Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, this conjunction is happening in your 12th house of the subconscious, as well as secrets and spirituality and creativity and sleep and isolation. So with that being said, it has a lot to do with revelations from the past or unexpected insights into your subconscious that could alter your emotional landscape, right? And so this is an excellent time for psychological breakthroughs and spiritual awakenings that could definitely happen. Okay. And so you might even find yourself just like surprisingly taking a retreat, or just taking a break from the mundane, or even just having like shocking revelations when it comes to spiritual awakenings. Okay. Okay, so for Cancer, sun, moon, and rising, this conjunction is happening in your 11th house. So this is the house of friendships and social groups. This has a lot to do with social media and your hopes and wishes and your overall goals, right? So you can anticipate the formation of a new alliance or new friendships, particularly with individuals who challenge your thinking and inspire innovative ideas. So social dynamics could shift dramatically now and over the next, 7 to 14 years, give or take. You can also see that maybe your social media presence will be shifting and changing. Maybe you will be starting a new goal that you will soon achieve over the next 7 years. It could be like, hey, I'm going to school. I'm going to go get my doctorate. It could be anything like that. Whatever your goal is overall, like your hopes and wishes, you could be setting out at this time to embark on that path and that journey, and doing so within like a community. Also, it could be that you are looking to kind of join in a new sense of community as well. All right, so for Leo, sun, moon, and rising, this conjunction is happening in your 10th house of career and public status. So this has a lot to do with your career, your public image to the world, your responsibilities, all those things. And so, this might be like an unexpected opportunity that could propel you into new professional realms, or even dramatically alter your career path altogether. So embrace being in this space of like unknowing. Embrace the unknown. I like that better. So also, the unforeseen is really going to be offering you promotions that might rise up. So it could be like a literal, like if you're already at work and you work for someone, you're in corporate America, you could really get a raise. You could get a new offer for a new job opportunity or something along those lines. You could also get maybe even just start a new journey of saying, you know what, I no longer want to do this thing that I've been doing. And then you have a dramatic shift in your career path. Like you change your career, you change what it is that you've been doing, what you've gone to school for. You just like completely say, you know what, that no longer serves me and no longer makes me feel, you know, what I need to feel. I don't feel lit up when I'm doing this. I'm going to go do something that lights me up. Okay. So for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this conjunction is happening in your ninth house of beliefs and higher learning. So with this, right? So it's the ninth house. It's the house that typically is ruled by Jupiter. And it has a lot to do with not just only your beliefs and higher learning, but it's about travel and abundance. It's about expansion, your life path, your purpose in that realm of things. And so exposure to foreign cultures or a new educational opportunity could really significantly like expand your worldview. So consider further education or maybe even travel that promises personal growth during this time and over the next 7 to 14 years, as you can see this kind of panning out and even longer, right? Because like I said, this is not going to happen for another 80 plus years. So this is something that's going to start developing or start now, but develop over decades, right? Okay. So moving on, Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is happening in your eighth house of shared resources and transformation and joint finances and the occult and um, divination, ancestral, excuse me, ancestral and past life situations. So a financial or emotional windfall could highly be possible at this time. So be prepared for profound transformation in relationships involving shared assets or dependencies. So there might be some unexpected changes that happen in, you know, the money that you're making, or maybe your partner's finances are shifting, or maybe there is like a new relationship that is forming at this time. There also could be like you get a shock or a surprise offer, like you might, you know, get a new loan, or, you know, maybe you wanting to sell a piece of like your possessions or something like that. And so you get like an offer on some money, maybe a financial windfall could come through, an inheritance, maybe like an ancestor or like not a father, but like, you know, your parent or a grandparent or something could have left you some money and you're just now finding out, or it could even be a piece of land or something. You never know, because you know it's Taurus. All right. So for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this conjunction is happening in your seventh house of relationships and contracts. Ooh. All right. So this has a lot to do with your commitments in general, and contracts of all kinds. So it even could indicate soul contracts, right? So past life soul situations, or, you know, current contracts that you have. And so relationships, both personal and professional, may undergo unexpected shifts at this time. So there could be changes, or a new partnership could emerge. There could be the ending of one and the beginning of a new one. There could be things that's offering fresh dynamics and growth opportunities in your partnership. It could be an intimate relationship. It could be a surprise, you know, marriage. Someone could be getting eloped. Any of those things are also possible, and it's something that could be panning out and progressing over the next, you know, couple of decades or so. All right. So for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this conjunction is happening in your sixth house of health and daily routines, work, your diet, your pets. And so innovative approaches to your health regimen, maybe even your workplace routines, can significantly enhance your productivity and your well-being. So look for new technologies or new methods that improve your daily efficiency. So maybe a new diet, maybe a new and I don't really like diet, but you know, whatever, to each his own. But maybe like just a new way, a new lifestyle change, or something that's going to significantly improve how you go about your day to day. And maybe even you could be getting like a shock or a surprise new job opportunity or a new offer that could be coming your way. All right. So for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this, yeah, I say eclipse, this conjunction is happening in your fifth house of creativity, romance, children, joy, hobbies, self-expression. And so a surge of creative energy may really lead you to new artistic projects or romantic endeavors. So you might have a new romantic situation coming through, a new boo, a new bae. Children may also bring unexpected joy or become a greater focus in your life at this time. There may be some changes in your creativity and your creative self-expression. You could find yourself doing something that's really innovative or completely left field of what you've usually done when it comes to creativity. You could also have like unexpected hobbies or unexpected trips and things or plans that happen with children, or this could also be a surprise pregnancy. So if you're not looking to get pregnant, you know what to do. All right. But if you are looking to get pregnant, you know what to do. All right. So for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this conjunction is happening in your fourth house. So this is the home and family, your current living situations. This has a lot to do with your mother energy, your traditions, your roots, right? So this could bring about the truth of some things, right? Uncovering some hidden things. So changes also are highly possible in your domestic sphere. Right. So, such as moving or remodeling, or you could be refreshing your living room, or you could literally be just uprooting your entire home and moving to a new location. You could be selling your home. So, family dynamics might shift, and that might bring new freedoms or even new challenges. Okay. So last but not least, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This conjunction is happening in your third house of communication, siblings, small business, transportation, your neighborhood, your immediate environment, your neighbors, transportation. I think I already said that, but yeah, you get the point. So this has a lot to do with like communication breakthroughs that are on the horizon. Also, particularly with your siblings or even close community members. It could also be that there's going to be changes, shocks, and surprises that are happening with your small business. Like maybe new learning opportunities could also be coming to you at this time, right? Enhancing your connections as well as your understanding. Maybe you are embarking on getting a new certification or a new license, or maybe you're looking to go back to school, get a new trade or a new skill. There could also be some shocking conversations or information that could be coming to you during this time that kind of like shift your trajectory when it comes to many things on how you go about living or how you go about communicating, or even just shifting your perception of the world in essence. Okay. So that is all I have, y'all, for this conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus that happens on the 20th Central Time. So go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know if you're already feeling this energy, if you already are seeing some of these themes, if you are, anticipating any of the things that I have mentioned. Go ahead and leave me a comment if any of this resonates. I like talking to y'all and whatnot. So once again, description box below for all of the announcements that I gave, readings, merch, free PDF, Reiki sessions, so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the Scorpio full moon reading. So that will be coming out in maybe less than a couple of weeks, maybe another few days. So yeah, y'all should be seeing that post here very soon. So I will talk to you on another day. Y'all have a good one. Bye.